When I moved to Atlanta, women here are very entitled. And listen, I'm not blaming anybody, so I don't want this to turn into.
When you say entitled, though, what does entitled mean?
I'll say financially entitled. I feel extreme pressure.
Welcome back, or welcome to Uncle ABL, Jack of all trades, master of none. Here we talk about everything from relationships to finance to nutrition and everything in between. And today I have a video about a young man giving his testimony about how much it costs to date in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, this is a really crazy amount that he said. We're going to get into it in a minute. But first, I covered a young lady talking about, hey, if you don't, at least in Atlanta, Georgia, make $50,000 US, you shouldn't date. Now, I agree with that sentiment because it does cost a date. It will rack up and you won't even know it. Although I didn't agree with her being the messenger, I agree with the overall message. Now, if you're this guy we're going to show in a minute, you need to make at least $100,000 US or more if you go on dates that cost this much. Personally, I would never, ever, ever pay anywhere near that. I'm going to tell you how much I pay and how in just 1 minute. But first, let's check out the full video. This is a reaction video, so I will pause it at certain points to give my 2 cents. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
What happened in your dating experience to where you're now like,
It's a lot of pressure on black men, specifically dating black women. And I love black women. Social media and the culture has put a lot of pressure on us. This could be just based on environment. When I moved to Atlanta, women here are very entitled.
The was hilarious. But before we continue, I don't want to make it be about black women specifically. I don't get involved in the black men versus black women culture war. That's not really my thing. And I'm going to show you an example of what I'm talking about as far as it not being a black woman specific thing. Just hang tight. Let's keep on rocking.
And listen, I'm not blaming anybody, so I don't want this to turn into.
When you say entitled, though, what does entitled mean?
I'll say financially entitled. I feel extreme pressure. And I get hit on by white women. I get hit on by all kinds of women. But when I get hit on by black women, I immediately feel this entitlement of, I got to pay for something.
Wow.
I got to pay your rent. I got to help you with your car note immediately.
Now that does happen. I've run into that. I've heard it all. I've heard all kinds of stories. I'm about to get evicted. I'm talking about, I need X amount of money right now because I got to get a money order because if I don't pay it by X amount of time, I'm going to get evicted. And these same women you'll see on social media living the lavish life. That's Atlanta. You'll see the woman in a club looking beautiful, looking amazing, looking gorgeous, designer head to toe, but really she's about to get evicted. That's Atlanta, Georgia. It's the black Hollywood. Hollywood's the same way, but I digress for now.
Immediately within 2 weeks, or I'm just saying what I've experienced. I'm not saying that's every woman. Nowadays, if I take somebody on a date,
$400
immediately, and I don't even drink. So if she drink, that's the couple hundred. If the hookah is 45, lamb chops is 50, dessert. So by the time VIP park valet, I was just getting ready to say valet. So we didn't spend $400 for me to see if you like me.
Say that again.
So it's like I'm
$400. I would never in my life pay $400. I'm talking about even if we're in a serious relationship, I done been knowing you for years and years, I'm not paying $400. I mean, that's just a ridiculous amount of money. If you're paying that, then you're just not using your brain really. And of course you're going to get used, but I'm gonna let him finish.
I'm spending. That's just the first date. You want to go out again. So I done spent $1,000 on 3 dates just to see if you might call me back or maybe text me back. And then because you're a beautiful woman, if you don't like me, you can go get the next man to do the same thing.
Okay, so that was a lot. There was a lot going on there. Okay, let's come back. My man, 400 US American dollars. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Let me tell you what I spend. As I said before, I date in Atlanta. I was married, but I'm not married anymore. I'm out in these streets, as the cool kids say. I might spend $75 to $100, and that's kind of a lot. And I could pay the $400, but why would I do that? First of all, that's just entirely too much money. What are you really doing? What valet? Listen, you know what I do? I go to places where I scope it out first. Okay, do they have parking available? I'm at least need garage parking, but really I want to have ample parking on the street. This is why I go kind of outside the perimeter. If you know Atlanta, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, not within the city center. And if I do go in a city center, I'm gonna need to have parking, and I'm not trying to go to a club environment. I'm not doing hookahs and grass walls and ridiculously Nobu. I'm not going to Nobu. These rapper locations where you see celebrities are not really worth it, because a lot of times the food is okay. Once you get to a certain level, when you're talking about the food quality, it's really not a big difference. Let me give you 2 examples. So you can go to 2 restaurants. I'm not going to tell you everywhere I go. I'm a gatekeep some things from myself, but I'll move on. You got J. Alexander's and you got Del Frisco's. Del Frisco's is about double the price of J. Alexander's. You can go to J. Alexander's and get 2 entrees, 2 drinks for $100 out the door with a tip. Maybe $125. That's about my comfort level for a restaurant. And that's a little on the high end for a first date, but that's probably going to be about right for Atlanta. You can go to Del Frisco's and pay $250, $275 with a tip. But the truth is that the quality of the food is not much of a difference. There's a jump when you go from a place like, I say, Cheddar's, and shout out to Cheddar's. I'm not saying anything bad about Cheddar's, but when you go to Cheddar's to J. Alexander's, there's a quality increase, but J. Alexander's to Del Frisco's, it's not that much of a difference, not to pay double the price. So at a certain point, you're just paying just to pay, just because you said you can. And then you're paying for her to get Instagram pictures, bathroom pictures, things of this nature. And if you're doing that kind of stuff, she'll keep going on dates with you just to have that experience, just to have those pictures, just to say that she went on a date at these places. And then here's something else I want to say. I've had women in Atlanta, Georgia that I've been on dates with. This is not secondhand, third. This is me talking to women that I've been on dates with. They tell me that what they do, since they go out so much, is they will order more than they can eat. They're going to get appetizers, all kind of stuff. They're going to order more than they can eat, and they're going to get to-go boxes, and they got a whole fridge lined up with to-go boxes, and they use that to eat throughout the week in lieu of going to the grocery store. I've been told this by more than 1 or 2 women. Yes, I have, in real life, in person, on real dates. Not just what I read on the app, not just what I read on the website, not just what I heard through the grapevine. They tell me this stuff themselves. And to go back to what I was saying about it not being a black female specific thing, look at this. This is an article from New York Post on a real website. Okay, we ain't talking about no gossip, nothing. This is a real website from last year, January 23rd, 2023. It says, I went on 6 dates a week and didn't have to buy groceries for 2 years. This is an Asian woman right here. So black, white, Puerto Rican, candy stripe, it doesn't really matter. This can happen. So when you young men, as I close, when you guys are going on dates, you want to keep your investment low. Go to a bar or go to a mid-level restaurant, not a hole in the wall. You don't want to take her to a McDonald's. Don't be silly, but take her to a bar and just buy some drinks. You might spend $50 to $75 on drinks, but the whole point is you're not being used for food. She's got to actually like you. And then talk to her on the phone, talk to her on FaceTime, communicate first to see if she actually likes you, to see if there's anything there. If you invite her to a bar or to an okay restaurant and she says no, or she tries to suggest something else, then go ahead and cut your losses. Move on to the next girl. Move on to the next. If she likes you and she wants to continue something, she'll be cool with going to the bar, going to an okay restaurant. You'll be good to go. That's the way you should go. Spending $400, my man, you're just asking to get used, and you will be. And the women, they out here to know you. They know you're going for that. You'll accept that. Okay, I'll just use him for that purpose, and I'll take pictures, and I'll put that food in my refrigerator, and that'll be how it is. And that's pretty much all I got to say. And if you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.